Good afternoon, Arsenal fans. How does that one feel? Gotta feel good. Gotta feel good. A dub in the North London Derby at home. It's always a beautiful thing, is it not?
Absolutely. And no, I was not confident enough to string a bunch of lights up today. I predicted 1-1. What happened is my camera's turned around from the way it usually is. This year, I spent more time untangling Christmas lights than putting them up. So I just put them all up in the kids' playroom, but they don't go on. And that way next year I don't have to untangle them. My son likes the lights. But after this win, I plugged that baby in. It's Christmas too. Christmas too. I'm so happy.
Christmas too. Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. Let's go. Let's go. Mike, how you feel?
I feel good now, man. Bit of a rough day, rough weekend.
Is your shirt on backwards?
It is, because my shirt contains my boy right here.
Fair. All right. I saw the
co-man of the match tonight, but yes.
I saw the top of the bat. What is the back of the collar with the cannon?
No, I'm actually I'm a priest now. I have
the Arsenal priest. The Arsenal
priest.
Bless you, my brother.
Did you guys hear Lee Dixon's story today? How his daughter's wearing a Tierney shirt?
Yeah, the Dixon shirt went right in the bin. The Dixon shirt went right in the bin. Oh man. I just whoo.
This team has way more to do with my mood and my general life.
Yes.
And I know I'm not alone in saying that. I'm nothing special. But especially today, man, the day started off somber. Could have gotten a lot worse with this game, but I'm just freaking happy as hell right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I totally agree with that. My day started with me waking up an hour before the pregame show and my wife announcing that our front lawn is the only lawn that still has leaves on it. I need to clean that up. and I said that's going to depend on the Arsenal game. So when we're done with this, I got to do the leave.
Yeah. You got to keep the boss happy, man. If you're happy, you got to keep the boss happy.
Happy wife, happy life.
There you go.
If you don't do the leaves, you may not get to watch the next game out of disciplinary reasons.
Shh, don't let her hear that.
It's just the world's a better place, and especially after this win, right? Mm-hmm. This is man. Let's talk about it. So
after that Lamella goal, it just makes it all the more sweeter. And I'm not taking anything away from that goal. That was one of the prettiest goals I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's insane. If I tried that, I'd have less bones and muscles that weren't injured than the ones that would be injured. I mean, it would look absolutely ridiculous if I even tried to do that without a ball there, without any defenders there, without a goal. If I just, when I stick my foot behind the other foot like that, it's usually just like because I am drunk, not because I'm actually trying to do an incredible athletic feat. So
yeah, and if I was at center back, I would have been like David Luiz standing there watching, like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean I didn't even catch it the first time. I thought it was like a toe poke that just somehow got the curl on it, and when I saw it the second time, I was like, holy, it just figures it's against the run of play. It's against everything. But
yeah.
But guess what? You
knew it was coming.
We don't got to focus on that anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to say, go ahead, Glenn.
Just the way we came back, I'm with Mike, man. My weekend, I'm set for the next few days. You know what I'm saying?
I'm set till Thursday now. I'm absolutely set till Thursday. I have a birthday party to... Go ahead, Glenn. I'm sorry.
Before I forget, Mike, belated happy birthday. I saw part of your birthday show. Birthday show. Friggin' hysterical.
I'm very sorry, my friend. Man.
It was a fun day, fun evening, and been capped off with the best possible outcome. So hell yeah. I mean, that Sophie's choice, that would you rather, so far we haven't had to decide. We might get both of the things that we wanted. You guys were right. It's a dumb question.
I have a birthday party to attend later tonight. My buddy's birthday is actually today, and
So is mine. Happy birthday, Rob, by the way. Happy birthday to Rob Ford, my buddy. Is his birthday. He's got him a happy birthday, too. But sorry.
No. It's
not that my friends aren't more important than your friends.
well, this one, this one might be because is he a footy fan? Is he an Arsenal fan?
Oh, he's a massive Gooner.
Okay,
we've gone to games together.
My buddy hates football, hates it, like utterly refuses to discuss anything related to it. The only thing he'll ever say is whenever we're all in a room, he just yells, "Man, you!" Because that's the only team he really knows, and he knows it just pisses us all off. So, as a gag Christmas gift a few years ago, I got him a Manchester United shirt.
Yes, and you urinated all over it before you.
I did, right? Yes, I did. And then when he put it on, I urinated on it again. But that's like
I have a neighbor.
Never mind.
I have a neighbor up the street. I have a neighbor up the street who, like, one of my best friends. He hates football, doesn't watch football. He just loves like needling you and stuff. So he's clearly, because this has been going on for the last 2 years, he's clearly set his phone alarm to like notify him when Arsenal are playing, because I get a text about half an hour before the game, like, "Oh, I'm really fancying Benfica today," and I'm like, this is intentional. He knows, and anytime Arsenal's playing, he's like this morning, and I doubt he even knows about the derby, but he's like, Tottenham is, I got all my money on Tottenham this morning. So, and I haven't all throughout the beginning of this season. I've really just kind of ignored them because I haven't been able to come back afterwards and be like, but today I'm going to do that.
It's a shame that we're only like 4 hours behind the UK now, but we're centuries behind them in football.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine if football was the number one sport in this country and we had athletes as big as Shaquille O'Neal running down the pitch? You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh.
Lumbering down the pitch. Anyway, let's let DJ Yannix. Greetings from the UK. I'm going to read this out, Glenn. This one's for you. Hope you're all well. We are. Thank you, mate. Question for Glenn. First off, let me say you have a very welcoming smile.
Oh, okay.
But the question from DJ Yannix is,
he's married.
What were the choice of socks for you today? Difficult one to make.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I have no idea what this is. I thought maybe it was an inside joke between the two of you.
No, but, I'm not sure what you mean, DJ. Just whatever the first pair of socks I grab out of, it's. They don't have to match. It's not short season yet. So.
Oh, it's always short season, brother. I'm in shorts every day.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
I'm that asshole. Yep, I'm that asshole that walks into the store and everybody's like, "Look at that asshole wearing shorts and it's 20 degrees outside." But
yeah, we have more in common than I even realized that we do. Because
yeah, I mean, well, we're fat guys, so
I haven't worn pants in the last. Well, it's now been 12 months since I've been home from London. I have not worn anything other than elastic waistband shorts, and it occurred to me yesterday that I'm about to go to the beach in a few weeks. I got to get a pair of shorts that fits, because none of my shorts even come close to fitting me, and I've been in this false sense of security because I've been wearing like the elastic waistband stuff. But yeah, I gotta do me a little big and tall shopping at the old Amazon today.
Right. All right, let's actually talk about the game. Excuse me, I can't stop yawning. Nobody likes to see that, but anyway, Lamella's goal against the run of play, and boy, it just. When we started off real well. I thought we started off the result is well deserved in my opinion.
Absolutely, we hit the woodwork twice in the first half.
Yeah, and I even looked at my fiance and I said to her, it's going to be one of those days. Glenn, I think you're a hockey fan. I don't know, maybe you're. So you guys are both hockey fans. We watch hockey. And you see your team hit the post, hit the crossbar. Whenever you hit the iron before you actually score, and you're just like, it's just hockey gods aren't favoring us today. And I thought the football gods just aren't going to favor us today. We're going to dominate this game, and somehow they're going to beat us 2-0. And that's what was in my head. And especially after the Lamela goal went in, because it's just so Arsenal. Dominate, and then that. And credit to him. That's a well taken goal. There's nobody on defensively that's overly responsible for that. It's not a shot in the foot.
Mike, the Emi Martinez people would come out of the woodwork again for another
and
they could just they could stick it
look,
because no one was going to save that.
I have my qualms with Bernd Leno. I don't like his lack of aggression. Even towards the end of the game, he had a punch out on a corner, and I'm like, catch the ball, catch the ball, just catch the ball. I don't necessarily like his lack of aggression when going after the ball, but I think he's a better shot stopper than Emi Martinez, but it's done. Bernd Leno's our goalkeeper. Period. Right. Get behind him or hop off the truck.
I have been especially hard on Arteta the last few months, but he did something today that was, to me, outstanding. We are number 1 in the Premier League with crosses from the left-hand side. You figure, JM would figure out a way to stop that. And he had like Smith Rowe and Tierney, going in and out. It was just fantastic. And we just kept getting those crosses. And our first goal came from the left-hand side. So, screw you, Mourinho. You're not some, genius. We still scored the best way that we know how.
We executed today. That's what it comes down to. We didn't execute the last time we played them, and we really gave them exactly what they wanted, which was counter-attacking opportunities that they buried. And today, we outplayed them, we out hustled them, we out wanted it today, and that's what it came down to.
Hello, Mike.
Yeah, what's up, Mikey boy?
Did I chime in and Glenn is being positive? I'm done. I'm just gonna leave right now.
Dude, look, he's got Christmas lights up in the background, man. It's a full-on party at this point. So, it'll make my day if one Scum supporter would come in and watch this show today. And I know it's not going to happen because I don't think I have one follower on Twitter that is a Scum supporter, but
they'll be hiding out today, or they'll be talking about the league position or something like that. None of that matters at this very minute.
No, it doesn't matter at all. So
a little bit. Mourinho says he only likes to look up, not down. We're only 4 points behind them now. He's going to start looking down if this
We're
form
coming
continues.
for you. We're coming for you. Tottenham Hotspur.
Arteta's talking now.
Is that what are you watching there? You watching NBC?
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to hear what he's saying because I'm a professional.
Well,
focus on the podcast.
Mute us and watch that so you can tell us what he says. Mike, what's your take?
Dude, you know what? I was telling a friend leading up to this game that knows nothing about football, and I love how people look at me when I tell them this shit, and I go, 30 minutes, Mikey. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, Arsenal, 30 minutes. I feel like I'm going to throw up. And he goes like, wait, what? You're always happy when they're going to play. I go, yeah, but not today. I go, today you have a shit show until the game starts. You don't enjoy any minute of it until you're either winning by a large margin or it's over and you won or you didn't lose. I go, and then you kind of like, fuck, okay, it's over. Analyzing the actual game, dude, I was saying this on halftime. I would have been fucking miserable if we did not come away with a win. Not lose, a win, because that 90% of that game we were just on top of them. I for long parts of that game.
Sounds like 90% of your marriage.
Yeah.
That's how you end up with that many kids.
40, what was it, 45 now, Mike?
48 and a half, I thought.
48 and a half.
One for each year of my life.
Yeah, it was brilliant, man. We were on top of them. The lads, you gentlemen spoke about Odegaard and Rose starting, right before the game, and the fact that they both started. I think Arteta went out there with intent. He wanted to play. He wanted to win this game.
Say it with your chest, Mikey. Say it with your chest. Come on.
There you go. Yeah. Over the moon, dude. Over the moon. There's literally I'm watching the game play out, and I'm like, holy shit, is this going to be another game where we grossly underperform our XG, where we just have chance after chance, and then the first half ends having hit the post twice and still not tied up the game? Dude, this was a shit storm ready to happen, and then Odegaard, hits it and scores, and like, breathe. Just a fantastic game, man. This is essentially everything Stan was saying before the game started, where you kind of like to see them almost go ahead and just when they think they're going to achieve something, you just snatch them. I was in the group chat saying, Stan is a sick puppy for liking that, but it is true that them going ahead and then us taking that win is just so much better. So
builds character.
Builds character, but look, the last
3-0 would have built more character, but you're right.
Last 30 minutes, I was on my feet, pacing around in my living room, trying not to wake up my wife and kid that were sleeping. My daughter walks out of the room, and she sees me, and she's like, "Daddy, I don't like it when you're like this, when you're pacing around. You make me nervous." And I go, "Well, baby, I love you. There's other rooms in the house."
How old is your daughter? How old is she?
She's 10.
She's
sorry, 11 as of last week.
So she gets that then.
She gets that. And then so I had essentially what Mikey had with his son Jake in the Benfica game. They score. She's right, but mind you, she didn't leave. She just sat on the couch and she's like, "Okay, let's do this shit." I'm like, "All right, baby."
That's what she said. Okay, motherfucker, let's do this, goddamn.
Hey, is that a challenge? That's what she said. Is that a challenge?
Look, you son of a bitch. Let's watch the rest of this game together.
It's so funny. We all have different ways that we look at the game. In the first half of the game, I'm downstairs. Everybody else is upstairs. My son is on the autism spectrum. He has trouble sometimes saying what he means. But halfway through the first half, he came downstairs and he said, "Daddy, your growling is scaring me." And for that last 15 minutes, I was such a wuss. I couldn't even look at the TV. I did this half the time. I just couldn't look.
Glenn, when they announced 5 minutes, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go take a piss now. I don't want to finish the game. Just to burn some time, just to let the clock run down a little bit. Madness, dude.
Yeah, that last the Kane free kick, the one that ended up going over the top.
I think closed my eyes.
My son covered his eyes too. He's like, "Dad, did that go over?" I'm like, "Yes, it went over." And I felt like basically the only way we were gonna get away with that is if he didn't strike well. Those last 10 or 15 minutes. Look, those were 10 or 15 of the worst minutes we've played all season. But the first 75, there have been these games where we just look like we could beat literally anyone in the world if we put that kind of effort together. And, you can ask why we don't see it more often, but we're not the finished product yet. But to be able to see that team play that way, and I can't wait until we start getting into individual players' performances, because there were some today that, speaking of socks, Glenn, they just knocked my socks off. And this is beautiful.
Mike, anything of note from
I could. It was just doing the normal manager talk. I didn't really want to be completely disconnected from the pod, so I saw that he said that those last 10 minutes were not acceptable, but I don't really know of any particular information that he came out with that we didn't already know.
Yeah. So Stan, first of all, welcome and apologies. I could have sworn I sent you the link, so my fault on that. Apologies. Lay it on us, man. How you feel?
Brilliant. Fantastic. This is my favourite fixture, hands down. But wow, did they really put it to me in that last sort of 10 minutes or so? It was almost like I thought, they had 10 men. We had 10 men at one point.
Yeah.
It was,
you see this patch of gray right here?
It was nervous.
This patch of gray right here, that's new. This patch of gray right here, from the last 15 minutes, that's new. Jeez, but you're absolutely right, Stan. They really came on at the end, and I want to start here, and we'll work our way back, and we'll get into individual performances and things like that. But the last 15 minutes is a bit troubling, to be honest with you. Well, hello.
Hello, Mrs. Man.
We thought he was joking about having a partner.
No wonder this guy's smiling all the time.
Yeah, right.
Was that stunning woman your wife? Wow.
Arsenal, I certainly hope so. Another Arsenal podcaster punching, my friend. It's just everybody.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all of us.
If my wife passed behind me, half the audience would be calling the Bigfoot hotline.
Wow. Wow.
All right. All today's super chats will be going towards marriage therapy now.
Yeah, really.
Guys, for people that don't know, she's been working from home since COVID started and has not shaved her legs yet. That's why I joke like that.
Okay, I got it now.
You're not making it any better. Here's how I'll dig out of the hole I just created for myself.
Way younger than you, Glenn. Just shut up right now. Don't.
For as well as we played for the first 75 minutes, when Lamela got sent off, we really slowed down. It's almost like we were down, then we went down a man, and all of the air just completely came out of us. Glenn,
yeah, but that was just temporary. It didn't last the whole game, so I'm going to forgive them for that because it was a letdown. I mean, that was just one hell of a goal. We're only human.
No. After Lamela got sent off. After Lamela went off.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about his goal.
No. I thought our response to the goal actually was pretty good. Yeah, I thought our response was pretty good.
I'm going to hop off again because Mourinho's going now. Now I want to hear
okay.
Now this is going to be good.
No, I thought the air really came out of our sails after Lamela got sent off. And were we tired? I think Thomas Partey was tired. Like I could see him laboring at the back. And some of his decision making, his passing was real bad at the end. Was it
short turnaround from the last game?
I was just going to say, were we tired at the end? Stan, did we think we had it in the bag at that point? Did we take our foot off the gas? Combination of both?
A bit of panicking as well.
Yeah.
For me, it was a very panicked kind of a feeling towards the end of the game. And then it felt like we were playing with 10 men. And then there was a substitution and Willian came on. And I remembered remarking, now it's like we've got 9 men. But we managed to scratch it out. I think for Mikel Arteta, and I said this on the tailgate earlier, this goes, I think, some way to getting a little bit more credit for him in the bank. As much as I think winning the FA Cup did, I think if he's got a checklist, on that checklist was being able to beat Tottenham, and he's done that now. He's been able to scratch that off, and that's got to go some way to kind of surely bring the fan base together, even if it's for a short space of time, even if it's just until tomorrow morning.
I think this is the first time Arteta beats Mourinho, right? Am I wrong to say that?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was a fitness thing as well. I think about the minute 60, 70 mark, you could see Partey kind of really slow down from the level that he was playing. Lacazette, from like minute 50, 60, you could see he was baked, dude. He stopped pressing. At one point in time, I think it was Odegaard running, and they recovered the ball brilliantly. Partey was carrying the ball forward, and I'm like, oh my God, there's nothing but space. And Laka didn't even make that run. And look, Laka makes runs when he's fresh. You could see he just kind of tailored off towards the left, and it was kind of a sideways pass, and they tried to keep possession. But at that point, I think Laka was completely burnt, and by now we all know. Semi know what was going. Aubameyang didn't play, and we kind of know why in a sense. We don't know exactly what he did, at least I don't. And so unfortunately, that wasn't an option for Arteta. But I'll say this: I support his decision, and I know it's easy to say now that we won, but still, he needed to show intent that he was not going to be screwed with. It's kind of one of those things where you can't let the what's the saying? You can't let the
inmates run the asylum.
There you go.
Yeah.
That one exactly.
You know, for years, I'm not over exaggerating. I'm not getting over hyper about this win, but for years I felt this team lacked heart. And when we went down 1-0 today, you know, normally I'd be like, okay, I'll vacuum and watch the game, you know, because it's just too annoying. and I didn't. Because this team is starting to develop some character and heart. Just starting, I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they have it yet.
So, I mean, it's a big win. It is a big win. But we said this a few weeks ago after Leicester, beating Leicester 3-1. That's a big win. Now we need to take this and we need to build on this. And now I think we have 2 games in the bag with Olympiacos on Thursday and then today where we can – if you're Mikel Arteta now, you have to look at the team in the next team meeting. You have to say, okay, guys, look what we've done here in the last 2 games. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Let's build on this. Let's go out against Olympiacos now on Thursday, and let's put the hammer down against those guys. Bury them 2-0 in the first half, and then come out and just dominate possession as we've done. So, Stan, is this – I mean, it has to be a confidence boost, right?
Well, it's got to be. It's got to be a huge morale boost. And he took such a gamble as well. You know, when I started looking at the team lineup and hearing about cheers, Maxwell, it definitely is, mate. And, you know, there's a big gamble to take Aubameyang out of the team. And, you know, all we heard it was for a disciplinary reason. And my sentiment was, if he's done something major, then he shouldn't have even been on the bench. And on the other hand, if he's done something that's minor, you play him in this fixture and then you sort it out behind closed doors. So,
Well, I'm sorry. Stan, did you hear that he was late for a team meeting and it wasn't the first time? Once I heard that, I had no problem with sitting him.
yeah, I did hear that afterwards. But I think if you're going to leave a player out, I just remember that there was a time when Wenger done the same thing to Sanchez. He disciplined him and he took him out of the team and put him on the bench.
Against Liverpool. At Anfield.
We started chasing the game, and he had to then relinquish and bring him on, which kind of nullifies your position a little bit. You know, it makes you kind of look a little bit, you know, a bit weak. So it's a gamble, but we got the result. So we move on. You know, had it all backfired, then that's probably would have been the talking point, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it would absolutely would have been the talking point. It's almost a double win now for Arteta, isn't it? Because he wins the game. But, oh, by the way, he didn't make the wrong call. I'm not going to sit here and say he made the right call, but the call worked in his favor with sitting Aubameyang. Didn't feel like he needed to bring him on. I'm actually surprised he didn't bring him on. I really thought he would bring him on.
I think he got his point across, especially when we saw how Lacazette looked.
Yeah.
And we essentially played with no forward. That was the message he sent. We played with Oneni, right?
Yep.
Which you could argue that it was for hanging on to the game and everything, but he chose not to have a natural forward in the game versus playing Aubameyang. So there's the major contrast with Arsene Wenger and him. You know, just comparing. I don't want to get into too much on the Wenger Arteta thing, but just comparing what happened in Anfield versus this, he was like. You know, he was. You could have argued that they were there for the taking, and in a fast forward would have been there with 10 players would have been brilliant for us, right? Catch them on the counter, whatever they were pressing forward, and Arteta chose like, no, you're not going to play. So, you know, again, it's a beautiful thing once you win. You know, it gives you some options. Look, you know,
look, I've said this about various teams that I support in different sports. Winning will always cure what ails you. If you have a problem, go win a game. And all those problems, at least until the next game, disappear for a while.
Especially when it's a North London derby.
Well,
that'll cure problems going back a couple months almost in many cases.
And we still have problems. Yeah. This team still has problems. We are still a work in progress. But this helps. You know, like I think it was Stan said, you know, put some credit in the bank for Mikel Arteta winning this game now, you know. So the Lamela goal, I was going to work kind of backwards, but I guess we'll go to the Lamela goal. Anybody see anything from Arsenal that could have prevented that, or is it just a great individual effort by Eric Lamela? Because that's how I'm viewing it.
Yeah, luck could have prevented it. You know, Partey not having his legs wide open, but I'm not criticizing him for that. He was in stride. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, had his legs been in a slightly different position, it wouldn't have gone through. Had the strike not been so sweet, had there not been something of a screen blocking Leno's view of it, and certainly, you know, he's not going to pick up that a shot's coming at fast rate when you don't even see the shooting foot get lifted up in the backswing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I don't know that there's anything you could have done other than
pray.
Just
pray.
After that goal, I just kept rewinding it, looking for blame, and I couldn't find any.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's kind of what we do as Arsenal fans. Okay, who do we blame for this?
I've said it before. The other team gets paid to play too, and sometimes they make a good play. And Lamela made that's a nice goal. It's not the greatest goal I've ever seen. I think apparently like somebody on Sky was like, it's the greatest goal I've ever seen in my life. And like settle down. It's not that.
It's top 10 Derby goals of all time.
That absolutely, for sure.
But like I'm scared to even say top 5. But so like it's a good goal. Let's not go overboard. But
I like this one. There was a guy that tweeted out. He just said that they just said on Sky that it's probably one of the greatest goals I've ever seen. And then the guy said, but it was for by Lamela, and he's a cunt, so it ain't named.
You do have to kind of take it down a notch because of who scored it. You just can't give that guy, you know.
Instincts kicked in for me, and I immediately was like, "Fucking Willian."
He wasn't even on the pitch at the time. Exactly.
He's not even on the He's like on the touchline warming up, and it's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to get that. What are you doing? Look, I'm not in the game. Oh,
did you guys notice how high up Xhaka was playing? I thought it was a little crazy, but he played a good game. Did I say that? Did I just say Xhaka had a good game? You didn't notice how high up he was playing? No?
I mean, Craig would like to ask Stan how Xhaka did.
He didn't do too bad today. You know, he did not do too bad today. It's the consistency. Let's see what happens in the next game. So, but no, fair's fair. You know, it's a win, and he played.
There's only one player on the pitch that I felt had a bad day today.
Who?
Thomas Partey. I mean, and it wasn't bad, but like, you know, if you want to single someone out and say he was a 6 on a day where everyone else was 8s and maybe 9s, it would be Thomas Partey for me.
Yeah.
Maybe Leno, but I'm kind of talking about, you know, player, you know, on outfield players, as it were. But
I know that I don't want to see Thomas Partey shoot anymore. Jesus, every time he has
done with the Thomas Partey offensive experiment.
That's fair.
Interesting point from Mike. I'm curious, Glenn. Who is your worst player? Is it Partey for all of us?
Are you going to leave it up forever?
Yeah.
He's gonna put that in the he's gonna put that in like the theme of the show.
Yes, it is Partey, but only because he didn't play as great as he usually is. I mean, give him a 6, you know.
And that's what I'm saying. He was a 6 on a day where everyone else was 8s and 9s.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a 3 on a day where everyone was 6s to 8s. You know, so it if you had to find someone, and of course we have to find someone to complain about. It's not even a complaint, but he did a few individual errors. Fortunately, not in a position on the pitch that really cost us.
Most of the errors, I think, were in the last 15, 20 minutes.
And that goes for the entire team. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, you've got solid 7s and I'd say as many as 3 9s on today's, you know, on today's player ratings, if we will.
Even Pepe coming off the bench was dangerous. He looked. He was
on it.
Yeah, I'm almost out of things to talk about. I'm still a little stunned, to be honest with you. I got to be honest. Go ahead, Mike.
One of you gentlemen brought up, you know, if Cedric played a decent performance, would that be enough to solidify him as the starting right back? Personally, what I forgot which one of you gentlemen mentioned it before the game.
Please stop
personally,
calling us gentlemen. I keep thinking I'm looking for who that you're talking about.
I'm sorry,
I'm like,
sorry.
wait a minute.
Gentlemen and Mike. There you go.
I don't
Gentlemen and
invite Mike. I don't invite gentlemen on this show. All right,
scumbags, if you will.
scumbags. There you go.
Which one of you scumbags?
Scumbags.
Which one of you?
I was impressed with Cedric myself. I think he offers a lot of balance, both forward and backwards. He's a little bit more defensively aware in our own, his actual defensive duties versus Bellerin. Now, you could argue that might be the manager asking Bellerin to push up that much. I personally don't think so. I think the same instructions are given to both, because essentially Cedric in offense tries to do exactly what Bellerin does. So for me, moving forward in the, I hate to use the term must win, because we're in that part where we're fighting in the league. But like if I'm rotating the squad right now, I'm playing Bellerin versus Olympiacos, right? And getting Cedric some rest before the league game.
Yeah, I
would play
against
Chambers
only in this. Yeah, I mean, I would play Chambers there just because I mean, the way we go out of this competition on Thursday is by conceding 3 goals or more, and 3 goals if we don't get any, and more if we do, and so I think we can be a little bit more free with rotation. If it's Chambers instead of Bellerin, though, that'll tell you a lot, because it's been a few games running now where Bellerin hasn't gotten the call. Did he against Olympiacos in the first round? He did, and he had a good game. But like, I start to see some of these must-play situations starting to change, with Willian not necessarily starting this one with, and Willian could have started under the cover of Aubameyang's suspension. That just could have shifted things around a little bit, not as a like for like, but. So I am getting a little more encouraged that he's noticing who's playing better than his pets. And Cedric, I think today was one of those solid 8s. And when Pepe came on, Pepe looked like he was excited to play with him again.
Yeah, if you look at it this way, the last 3 games at right back was Chambers. He had a decent game. Bellerin, pretty good game. But today, Cedric was an 8, like Mike said. And to me, he's the starting right back.
Yeah, when I see
Go ahead, play, I'm sorry.
When I see him play, I never sit there and think to myself, "Oh, I don't want to see any more of this guy." So that's a good thing, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
You're not jumping out at me at someone that's like, "Oh, what's going on there?" So he's quietly going about his business, and he is a little bit more defensively minded, which is also a bonus for a defender, right? He is a defender after all.
Interesting question here from Craig. Do you guys think the players reacted to Aubameyang being dropped, Glenn?
If a player has a problem with someone being dropped when he misses a team meeting and it's not the first time, I take the manager's side and I look a little less at that player, because at some point you have to have, not obedience. I can't think of the word. And structure. Discipline, thank you. So yeah, I would look down on a player that says, "Why didn't you let Hubba play? He only missed a couple of meetings." One of the announcers today told a story. Lee Dixon said that George Graham, when he said 10 o'clock, that meant 9:50. That's my point of view.
Look, I don't understand. I don't understand, and it is easier to say after a win, but I felt this way before, when I found out about the benching. I don't understand who could complain about this right now. Look, Aubameyang's good and he's been in form lately, but I mean, he's not this season more than any other season. The drop off from him to either Lacazette or to the different looks that we have when Aubameyang isn't playing is not as sharp as it used to be. It's not like we have Erling Haaland on our team and we didn't play him, and the drop off is significant. I just don't see what the problem is. I mean, he didn't just make something up to make an example out of him. There's clearly he did this against his own desire to. And unlike the last time Aubameyang got hurt or got benched, which is when he got hurt, they didn't cover for him. They came right out and said something they didn't need to say, which is that he was done for disciplinary reasons. Not he has a little tight calf or he's got this or that. They came out and said the reason why. So clearly that was the message that was being sent is We're not going to have this, and it doesn't matter who you are, and you cannot fault a team for doing that. It doesn't matter how important the game is. If a player's, it's worse that the player would do that before such an important game like this.
I need 10 seconds. I got on Arteta's case when we had that string of red card games where he wasn't disciplining these guys getting the red cards. So I am all for sitting Aubameyang today and showing some discipline.
I think my only criticism is that if you're going to do that, then you need to go the whole hog and not have him in the team full stop. Because it's half thing. You're half either, you know what I mean? And he's made a point of saying he's not playing because of. He's not, he could have just said, formation. If he's going to keep him in, he could have said, tactics, I want Lacazette to start, I might bring him in off the bench. But he's made a point of saying it's a disciplinary thing, so then don't have him in the team at all. What I do like about it, though, is that if you
I heard it was too late to withdraw him from the team and replace him with anyone else.
But I was going to ask, I really don't know the regulations, but like the rules, the letter of the law, but if there was like a set amount of players that have to be on the bench, can he have one less player? Or
he could, but there's a point at which you can no longer replace them with somebody new.
Okay.
So that I believe
the lineup is submitted at that point. No changes can be made. You can change who starts, but you can't change the players that are actually getting a shirt. So I think
think as well, from a standpoint of, say, maybe a youth player that's maybe just making their way in the first team, it shows them when they see that action being taken that, it doesn't matter who you are in this club. If you don't sort of like adhere to what the rules are and you're on time and stuff like that, you will get dropped. Even if you're wearing the armband and you're the most expensive paid player in the squad, there's no hiding place. So I do like that as well. But this is all in hindsight. I'm saying all of this, it sounds weird. I'm saying all of this because we won, right? We beat Tottenham. Had it all gone the other way, I might be sitting there going, well, you should have played him and maybe disciplined him behind closed doors.
See, I don't see how you could say that, because that's just that. I mean, that would be revisionist history to me, not the saying.
I'm just being totally honest.
I'm not telling you you're a bad person. I'm just
saying, if we'd lost, I would have been looking at the reasons why, especially if we'd lost badly, and then I would have probably looked to leaving our best goal scorer out of the team. So it's hindsight.
If we had lost,
I'm behind it.
If we had lost because of it, I would have been very, very angry with Aubameyang, not with Arteta, with Aubameyang. Yeah, I mean, let's not forget. Like, we assume this is a legit thing. So my issue would be, why did you make Arteta have to do that? Not why did Arteta do it?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean,
because everybody's looking at should Arteta have done that or not, and almost forget, like, should Aubameyang have done that or not?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, he should be leading by example. That's part of what being a captain is, right? He should be early. He should be early.
Getting back to Craig's original question, it absolutely shows that the team can rally around him. I don't think anyone feels that Aubameyang's less important to the team now than they did before, but it did give them the confidence to show that they can kick on. And it's a smack in the buttocks to anyone who thinks that this team is a country club and that you don't have to follow the rules. And that these messages are being sent. We're getting away with them on the pitch, and the team is starting to the discipline on the team is starting to kind of come together, and Kieran Tierney and the guys that are, I would bet he's never late. I would bet ESR's never late. I bet probably nobody other than Aubameyang's late, unless that's been Martinelli's problem for all we know.
There was
this is for me the continuation of the culture change. Sorry, it's something Craig brought up with if the players were going to react or not react. I think the players that are currently with our squad are understanding what your friend doesn't matter. You are here for the club. We had that incident with, Ozil and Socrates, I believe, too, where like a lot of people were like, well, I didn't like that he wasn't, registered. We don't care. We don't care.
That's not your job not to like that.
Exactly. Your job is to perform for the club. And so Craig's point, all you gentlemen, scumbags. Sorry, I don't know why I want to offend anybody.
Call us gentle bags or scum men.
All you gentlemen, hey, he lost the arm bar, Mike.
Arm bar, yeah, I was just thinking about arm bar. It's been a while since arm bar, yeah.
I think it was A, a brilliant message by Arteta, and B, a brilliant reaction of the players that did play that said, hey, so be it. Our teammate is the one that made the screw up. He's out. It's our job to continue to perform for the club.
And Arteta's come out after the game and made it very clear that the matter is closed. Good. And we move on.
Yeah. If I could change one thing, maybe it's just the way the camera caught him, but every time the camera was on Aubameyang, it looked like he had a cat turd under his nose, and that annoyed me a little bit. I want you face the music. You were late. Be applauding there on the side. Doing the tyranny. I don't want this. Yeah, I'm not playing.
I bet you he gets 4 goals in the next 3 games.
Good. And I do acknowledge that maybe he was doing that, and the camera just caught him at some bad times.
I think he was sulking. Camera doesn't all of us today. I mean, yes, I'm sure that there's somebody with a camera watching him the entire game, and they're like, "You just sit on Aubameyang, and if you think you've got something, you tell me."
That's the way it works.
But yeah. But I also think
on the Laka starting. Can I just say, and this is going to sound crazy to some, and I know this, but I feel substantially better with Lacazette taking a penalty than Aubameyang. So in a really weird way, I was like, I'm okay with it. Did you see the penalty? I mean, Lacazette and Pepe are substantially better penalty takers than Aubameyang.
I could buy that.
Yeah. When Laka was on, when we got a penalty and Laka I was like, oh, cool. Laka's going to take it. Alba, he tends to some of his shots go fairly through the middle, right next to
and he's got that memory in his head from 2 seasons ago when he missed the penalty against Spurs. And I mean, all of those things can go away in one good strike of the ball. But I felt much better once Lacazette got up. I wasn't so sure he was going to take it because it looked like he could have been injured, but then Pepe would have stepped up. I felt better about it. But one person that doesn't feel good about that penalty is Jose Mourinho. He's doing his I'm not going to talk, but
wow.
I think he said something like that, calling that a penalty is an offense to penalties or something like that. and I don't know what he's on about. I mean,
it's a penalty.
What it wasn't was a dog so, because some people were talking like it was, should have been a red because it was a denial. That was not the case, but it's a clear foul, and it wasn't like the ball was already, out of bounds. Lacazette mishit it, but that doesn't mean that getting fouled isn't a penalty.
You don't just get to run through a player for crying out loud. I mean, Sanchez just ran through him. He just ran through him.
We certainly don't ever get to run through a player, so why should they?
Yeah, right.
He's basically like their Mustafi, isn't he? Their version.
Yeah. Didn't you say that he was in the pregame? It was you that said he was their liability.
Yeah.
Who's our version of Mustafi now?
Xhaka. No, I've been seeing, and I know this ruffles.
At least our version of Mustafi plays further up the pitch now, although that didn't help us against Burnley.
He is, in my eyes, and I know. Look, discarding the whole he's been playing well. I could completely take that on board, and I am not going to discredit him. But he reminds me of Mustafi in the sense that Mustafi also had 3 or 4 really good games under Arteta, right? And then he would just do what he does, and then do the
here come the why are we still talking about a player that doesn't play for us anymore? Comments.
Well, look,
which are valid.
Look, on that note, look, I laugh at them. I don't participate in them. Once a player leaves, when Sanchez left and was having a crappy time at United, I could give 2 craps. I'm like, oh, that a United player having a crappy game, cool. I didn't bash Mustafi, but I
spent the whole season that Chambo left to go to Liverpool just enjoying his failure. although he got one back on me at the end with a couple of medals, but so yeah, I can't quite say I haven't watched any Fenerbahce games this season, but
I've not watched one. So
I'm not going to knock Xhaka. He had a good game, and
today was good. Today was good. But
Really,
Tierney,
he was great.
The only way I could be happier today is if they announced Tierney's the new captain. That's the only way I could be happier today.
Yeah.
Maybe this disciplinary issue will
Craig,
will be the beginning of that.
Is that son, Craig's son, Bobby?
Ah, nice.
Yes, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
Yes,
Bobby.
Good luck,
Dad
Charles.
did it.
Oh,
Your dad did it.
First London Derby and first win. I love it.
Hi, Bobby.
Well done. Well done. So, let me think. Martin Odegaard.
Baller.
Stan. I just two words. Martin Odegaard.
That's 2 and 2. You can't complain about that, you know. And when a player scores in the North London derby, it does endear him to the fans, you know. He sort of like he just endeared himself now, you know, a little bit like Torreira did in that 4-2 win. You know, I just hope he can carry that forward now.
So see you later, Martin Odegaard. Because it didn't keep Torreira around, and he had a contract with us.
We're gonna buy him and loan him.
Odegaard already said he loves the team, and he's been here such a short time. I love him. I hope we keep him. He is like a future stud for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But beyond the goal, which was, you know, might not have been a goal had not been for the deflection. Let's be honest. I mean, it doesn't matter. But beyond that, his play was excellent today. I mean, he's one of the three people that I say had a 9 today, maybe even a 9 and 9.2. He's one of the three, and it was so good to see, because we don't know whether he's the one that ended up taking Aubameyang's place on the 11 or not. It was more than likely either him or ESR.
Yeah.
So,
Stan, does it make Odegaard's last two performances, and I mean, is it safe to say that he's going to keep doing this now? I mean, two goals in 2 games. The confidence is starting to brim with him. You know, we're going to keep seeing this out of him now. Is it? I don't want to cut Danny Ceballos off the knees to make Martin Odegaard seem taller, but is Danny Ceballos kind of becoming a lost man because of what Martin Odegaard's doing?
Different positions, aren't they, really, as well? I mean, what Odegaard's bringing to the team, you know, we've got ESR who can be rotated in and out of that position. And then today, and we've seen that before as well, we can actually play them both on the field at the same time. And it doesn't look shoehorned. Sometimes when you play 2 number 10s, one of them can look a little bit like they're being shoehorned just to get in. You know, sometimes with, for example, a Mkhitaryan playing out on the right always felt a little bit lopsided to me when he looked more, he should be naturally in the middle. But it seems to work, and I'm all for it. Personally, I think moving forward, if we were able to keep Martin Odegaard, I don't think it would impede ESR's progression at all. He can't play all of the games.
Mm-hmm.
He does have some problems with skin tissue and those kind of muscular injuries. So isn't it good that when he can't play, we've got someone who's as equal, maybe if not slightly better quality, can come in? And I think that both of them can learn from each other as well. Is he playing himself into the first team of Madrid? At the end of the day, if you're a Real Madrid player and you've got an opportunity, you go to Real Madrid at such a young age, you want to make it there, right? You want to make it work. You somehow want to make it succeed, because at the end of the day, it's Real Madrid. There's no gamble that if Arsenal buy him, that he'd ever get a chance to go back to Real Madrid. So, you know, there's that to think about. It is Real Madrid at the end of the day.
Yeah. Glenn, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, assuming that Odegaard stays. If you guys could only sell 2 of the 3, what 2 would it be? That would be Ceballos, Elneny, or Xhaka. You can only sell 2 of the 3 this summer. Who would you do? I'll start off. It would be Xhaka and Elneny. I really want to hear what you. Because I know Stan is a big Elneny supporter.
I would sell Xhaka and Ceballos. Xhaka's not going to be sold, but I would sell those 2. Elneny's wage and what you could sell him for isn't going to make up for what he provides. I have never been more excited to see Mohamed Elneny subbed into the game as I was today, because it was the perfect situation for him. Yeah, and they even said it on our, and I think all 5 of us were probably watching the same feed. The closer.
The closer. Is that what
they said? They're bringing in the closer now,
yeah.
and they hadn't even shown Elneny yet. But I'm like, I hope he's talking about Elneny because that's he wasn't going to bring anything offensively, despite what we saw from him in the last game. But he will. He runs a marathon in 15 minutes, and that's exactly what we needed in that situation.
I just need.
It was the scariest 15 minutes of the game for us. So I don't.
I need to defend something, Mike. I give respect to Elneny's defense. I love his defense. I just think the team is slower with him on offense. That is my only problem with him.
Well, and I don't like starting him in games. I like him closing games out, like the United win, like this win. I think it's a good position to be in if we've got a 1 or even 2 goal lead, and rather than putting in a fifth defender, I'd rather just put in a guy that's just going to run like a headless chicken with discipline though, and just force errors. So, but that's just me. I still want Xhaka gone, and I don't think we're going to sell him.
But I'd rather have Elneny as a squad player. I'm not saying that he needs to start every game, but sometimes, when you're trying to close the game out, like Mike says, you want someone to come in and maybe take the sting out of the game a little bit and slow it down a little bit in your favour. And to get rid of you said you've got to get rid of 2. For me, I'm getting rid of Xhaka and Ceballos.
Okay. Mike?
Same here. I'm going with Xhaka and Ceballos. I just, Glenn, I put it in the chat as well. I completely agree with you that if we're losing a game, that's not who you want in the game. But like Mike said, closer and I just look at things like there's types of midfielders, there's types of forwards that do certain jobs. Right backs, we discussed Bellerin and Cedric a lot. I just think he offers not only a certain unique quality in the defensive end, but also you're dealing with, we're talking about squad, somebody that provides squad depth, ultimate professional, doesn't show up late for meetings. That is just there, good for the group and completely willing to come in the last 5 minutes, doesn't kick up dust. And I know that might be interpreted with, so he doesn't want to play. I think people need to take like a step back, and it's not, we can't have City squad right now. That's just the reality. That City squad, even City to have the squad that they had, it took them like 3 summers. They didn't buy 22 players in one swing of the D. So it takes time. And so if Elneny stayed around as a squad player just one more year, I wouldn't be extremely disappointed in that myself. But I think fans need. I'm going to take you guys just slightly.
But we have to improve that position though. I mean, we're not just replacing Elneny with Odegaard. We have to replace. We have to bring in another midfielder to play next to Partey.
Glenn said 2 players, right?
Yeah,
I'm keeping Elneny essentially as my squad player. Somebody has to, in my opinion, I'm kind of with Mike, kind of hell bent on Xhaka. I'm very indifferent with him. I am kind of almost afraid that Arteta rates him so highly that within the summer he might not think that that's a position that needs to be upgraded. I'm a little.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does.
Yeah, I hope not. I really hope not.
I hope we don't go for one. The scenario where for years people said that Wenger really didn't replace Patrick Vieira. Every time a transfer window came around, that was the sort of position that all the fans were saying, we need someone to go in there. Now it looks like that we've got that player in a Thomas Partey. I hope it's not going to go the other way now, where we don't go the whole hog and get a partner for him, a proper, decent partner. And we make do by rotating in and out the Xhaka, Elneny's and the Ceballos kind of situation. That can't continue.
Because then we have a whole nother season next season where our back line is massively improved. Our front 4 are scary, and we have no connection between the two other than Kieran.
It's like putting brand new tires on a car with no.
Then our fullbacks become our creative, interchanges, and that's not sustainable.
So, BG, am I the only one that would keep Ceballos? Who are the 2 that you would like?
Well, first of all, you're not selling Danny Ceballos because
you know what I mean. You know what I mean. We can only keep.
No, I'm selling Xhaka and I'm letting Ceballos walk because at the end of the day, the other thing that goes into this is value. if we're looking to upgrade the squad, we're not going to get anything. Well, we're not going to get anything for Ceballos because he's not our player. We're not going to get anything for El Neni. His wage is not a hindrance to the wage bill. You're going to get 20 to 30 million, I would think, for Granit Xhaka from someone.
You should.
I don't know what his wage is off the top of my head, but I would imagine that getting his wage off the book 100. So that's a pretty good chunk of change as well to get off your books. So I just think when you look at what you could do with the sale of Granit Xhaka in reinvesting those funds, I think that makes the most sense. If I could sell Danny Ceballos, I would be selling, because it's the same thing. I think Danny Ceballos has more value to another team than Mohamed El Neni does.
And there's no more loaning him, right? I think there's a rule that you can't loan a player for more than 2. So this summer,
decision has to be made.
Yeah, we either have to purchase him or have to send him back. There's no.
By the way, Mourinho in his post-game comment said my favorite 5-word phrase of all time. Tanner, it's something we've been saying.
Oh, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Did my internet cut out?
Danny.
Yeah, Mike, you're frozen. There you are.
We may disagree. Well, I'm the only one that disagrees with you guys. I'm the only person that would keep a Ceballos. But I'm glad we all agree that the number one target this summer is someone to play next to Partey. So I'm glad we all agree on that.
Yeah.
Are we seeing now really what the vision is with Mikel Arteta and the way that this team is going to play? Because what I've seen today versus what I saw, say, in the second leg against Benfica, this doesn't look the same. And we didn't really play out from the back today, did we? We played out from the back when there was no pressure, but we played out from the back a lot less. There were a lot more long balls over the top, but we played with pace, with speed, with purpose and intent, not just out from the back, passing the ball around to get our quota 75 passes in before a shot on, an attempt on goal. So, Mike, I'll start with you. Mike. All right. Which one? Give me nicknames here.
Hers is fine with me.
Hers. All right. Yeah. So hers, I'm going to start with you on this.
And Fatty's okay with me.
Yeah, but see, we can confuse Fatty for me. I can be talking to myself. So.
All right, just call me Jew Boy then, or something like that.
Wow. Wow.
That may not go over that well.
I dare you. Get canceled for that shit.
Yeah, hers are we? Is this the Arsenal you want to see? How do you feel after take the win out of it, take the result out of it, just based on what the style of play? Are you happy with what you saw today?
I'm happy because we dominated, of course, but I personally feel a little bit more secure playing out from the back. I still think that that's the master plan, except this time around, I think what happened was that the players took a little bit more initiative and saw that there were certain openings. And so they took the on-field decision, unlike, the past 2 mistakes that we had where the discussion was, hey, maybe he would have hoofed it, or, hey, whatever, the decision whether you blame Leno, Ceballos, or Xhaka. But I think there was better decision making. So I think they saw openings in the field. Partey tremendously in the first half when he was fresh. You could see him driving the ball forward, and you could see Rowe making runs, Tierney making runs, Odegaard. It was brilliant. So in that sense, I think we're still kind of trying to play from the back, except the players are kind of seeing openings on the field and they're taking the initiative, as we're all hoping they can, because once they're on the field, there's the taxes that are given to you, but the game changes, opportunities present themselves, and you can't just go back to like, oh, my manager wants me to pass here. So, I think that's ultimately in transition. I always thought that having a fresh Partey was going to help us tremendously move the ball forward. And the times that we have had him, he's still not fully fit, but when he is fit and fresh, it's a brilliant thing to see him play. And on the playing from the back thing, I couldn't get the tweet out fast enough, but minute 96 when Leno was gonna kick the ball out, I tried to tweet, but I couldn't get it fast enough. I was watch Leno play it from the back to just pass.
watch him boot it right to Granit Xhaka, coming screaming right down the middle at him.
BG, let me go because I have to go. I want to.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
Those leaves aren't going to rake themselves.
True.
I'm hoping she forgot about the raking the leaves thing. I am 100% happy. The players stepped up. Arteta stepped up. I thought he outmanaged Mourinho. That overlapping on the left wing, they didn't have an answer for. I am so friggin' happy right now, and I got no complaints about anybody.
Glenn, how high is your electricity bill? It's got to be through the roof, man.
No,
I can't work out. I can't work out whether you're in like a winter wonderland or this nightclub I used to go to back in 1993.
No,
there's nude women just off screen, just off the side. There's like a bunch of nude women dancing on.
I love it. I love it.
It's my Christmas lights in the kids' playroom. I plugged them in after the final whistle today. I just thought it would be fun to turn the camera around and have it. So, guys, thank you very much. Great win. So happy. Talk to you soon.
Take care, Glenn. So there's comments on Saka. Said he was feeling his hamstring a little bit. To be honest, he was the other guy that probably wasn't having a particularly great game in the first half, but he was just being kicked around. And you know what our next 3 weeks look like? Olympiacos in a game we could probably win without Saka, or at least go through without Saka. West Ham, where we'd like to have him, and then the international break. Wouldn't particularly mind. He doesn't go on the international break.
Just done. Just doesn't play another game until we come back from the international break.
If I had to decide between pushing him for the next 2 games or not having him at all until Liverpool at the beginning of April, I'm taking the latter. Just let the guy heal up, rest. Don't play around with hamstrings because we're going to need him for the final 2 months of the
final push.
7-8 weeks of the season.
Thinking about injuries, was the Martinelli thing confirmed where it was like a tendon or something, like a minor injury where he wasn't able to be on the bench?
I don't think he's injured.
I didn't see a confirmation, but I saw the same thing, Mike.
Okay, yeah, it just occurred to me because like, what shitty luck in the sense that look, Olympiacos, all you got to do is not lose by 3, and I'm like, if he's gonna ever get a few minutes, this might just be the game, right? And if it is injured, what a crappy time, man, where he could have potentially had a few minutes and, put himself in Arteta's thoughts. So that's really unfortunate if that was the case. But yeah, I'm not expecting to see Saka not even on the bench versus Olympiacos.
Yeah. Stan, what do you think there? Would you agree with us?
Oh yeah, of course. The guy needs to be, or the kid needs to be taken out and we give him some rest.
Yeah,
he's still developing. The last thing I want is for someone like him and ESR to maybe go the same way as Hector, because I think sometimes Hector to me looks like, if I look back over his career, may have burnt out a little bit and is kind of getting a little bit stale with us. And it's difficult, right, when you've got these young players that are playing so well and they're so important to the team. You want to see them every week, but sometimes you've got to wrap them in cotton wool and just let them have a breather.
Yeah.
Would it be too drastic against Olympiacos? And because again, I don't want to act all we're Arsenal, so I don't want to act like the tie's won and done and dusted. But like to rest Saka, to rest ESR, to rest Odegaard. I mean, you can still play Pepe, you can still play Willian, and I don't feel as bad about it as I would have a while ago.
Yeah,
you can in the center you have a fresh Aubameyang, to be honest with you. You can start a lineup that isn't going to be just a youth team, and get all these guys that have been playing every single game over the last 2 months some valuable rest now.
I mean, you could theoretically go Lacazette with Aubameyang out on the left, Willian in the middle, and Pepe out on the right.
Yeah, well, it's nice that we don't have to worry so much about offense. Yeah. So yeah, we offensively really and I know nobody wants to hear this, right? But realistically, I mean, Odegaard, Rowe, Saka, et cetera, we look at our midfield options. We could rest. Xhaka hasn't had rest forever, right? So we could play Ceballos and Egyptian Pirlo.
We could rest Tierney. We could. We know some combination of holding.
Say again, Stan.
I said, could we not give some minutes to maybe Eddie or Balogun? Is there a shout for that?
Yeah, you would think
that would be awfully interesting. I would love to do that with Balogun.
Well, the thing to also keep in mind with this is 5 subs again.
Yeah,
5 subs. So something if you try to rest one of these guys and it's not working, you have 5 subs. Bring them on and say, okay, look, I got to make a change because I can't lose.
Just have a loaded bench on the off chance your plan doesn't work and it's going tits up.
Right.
Have a loaded bench and say, right, okay, I know I was going to rest you, but I need you on now.
Right.
Otherwise, just do that. It's a home game, right? So it's not like we've got to travel somewhere.
If Martinelli wasn't hurt, and I'm not seeing anything about him being hurt, I thought it was just a pure selection decision. I'd play him some minutes on Thursday. Balogun's an interesting shout. I would love to give him that. I mean, this is the opportunity to do that, and then you have all your guys on the bench, like you said, that you can put in there if the game is kind of spinning out of control.
Imagine starting a couple of those guys, Balogun, Martinelli, and at the end of the first half, it's 4-0 to the Arsenal.
To them?
To us.
I would love that. What a great problem to have.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Let's wrap it up here, fellas. Let's get back on the brilliant win today. Final thoughts on the win today. Take as long as you like, but give me your man of the match in the final thoughts. Hers, I'm going to start with you.
All right. So, man of the match for me. That's a brilliant question. You know what? I am going to actually give it to Cedric, who I thought did a brilliant job down the right, defensively and offensively. He was a pain in their ass throughout the whole game. He covered a lot of ground. He was a threat. So I'm going to go with him just to be a little bit different because I know there's a few offensive players that are probably going to get a shout. I'm completely thrilled with the win. I understand that we finished up the last couple minutes on the back foot, but still, our players were exhausted. They were traveled. So one thing, I haven't logged onto Twitter, and I'm gonna finish my little piece with this sentiment here is that I know that there's going to be individuals online that said we barely won because of how we might have finished the game. I just want to say we also barely tied and barely lost a lot of games. And this whole season have been all fine margins. Fine margins.
Razor thin, man. Razor thin.
People
wafer thin.
Enjoy
wafer thin.
Exactly. Enjoy this freaking win. Because at the end of the day, the result is what mattered. The 3 points is what mattered. We won, and that's all history is going to remember. So, come on, you Gunners.
There you go. Well, you have to end it now, like our pod. It has to end now. That's the last thing that we're allowed to say.
Mike, final thought, man of the match.
Final thought is that we have 3 men of the match in my book, and the one that has really not been mentioned yet today, David Luiz. I don't love giving David Luiz credit for whatever reason. I just have the same feeling as I do about Xhaka, but I'm able to recognize when they play well. David Luiz was commanding today. He made every decision that he had to make. He definitely saved what probably would have been a goal with a really, really smart and well-played header when Kane was on his back, and he didn't have the fear that Kane was going to undercut him. He just didn't. He did what he had to do. So David Luiz, honorable mention. Odegaard, honorable mention. Kieran Tierney's my man of the match, though. I mean, that he did something early in the game that I have to go back and watch. I haven't seen it twice, but I swear he did something that is so underrated, which is there was one of these big looping, arching balls, very well played ball, probably from Xhaka or from Odegaard, and he actually identified where it was going to land, realized he was going to get there, slowed down while the ball was in the air so that he could speed up and get to the ball in full stride.
I remember exactly the play you're talking about.
It was first half, maybe 10, 15 minutes into the game. And you know, I've never actually noticed that before. I say I'd never seen it before, but I've never actually stuck out to me before because his first touch on those kinds of passes is unbelievable. It's like the ball just sticks to his foot, and he doesn't lose just a bit of pace. And to be able to do that and say, you know what, at his age, to say, I want to be in full pace when I hit this. I don't want to get there and then have to wait for it, because that completely changes the dynamic of the run. That to me was insane, and I got to go back and watch it because I want to make sure what I actually saw. But he was just, I mean, you cannot shut him down as a defender. He will get a cross in. They're not always going to be the greatest crosses, and sometimes moderate crosses end up being parried out to somebody else who can then get a shot on. So I'd rather get the cross than not get the cross. But he is, I mean, he never ceases to amaze me. So he's my man of the match, and I keep that guy in what is it? Wool? What kind of wool? Iron wool?
Yeah. What is it, Stan?
Cotton wool.
Cotton wool. Steel wool wouldn't be that comfortable to keep somebody in.
No, not at all.
just make sure that he's okay for the games that we need him in, because he's such a difference maker. But Tanner, you knew going into this game that I needed a lift, and the team gave me one today. So I am absolutely thrilled that we won that game, and we kick on from here.
Absolutely. Stan, it's all yours.
Well, we're still 10th place in the table, and it's quite stark being in that position. However, beating Tottenham today, I mean, it just doesn't get any better. It's one of those it's like a little ray of sunshine just coming through the chink in the curtain, right? It's not all that bad. And I think for the manager, it was really important for him to go and be able to get one over on Jose Mourinho, to scratch that off, so that he knows that he can do it. So the next time when we face them, he's going in there knowing I have beat this team before. You don't have to work a miracle to do it. Man of the match, I'm torn. It's really close between Tierney and Odegaard, but for me, I'm going to give it to Odegaard just because he snatched a goal, very important goal. There's like a cigarette paper between the two of them for me for their performances today. But I'd like to give an honourable mention to Gabriel for that header.
Oh my God!
Because when he done that, I just said to my missus he just saved our bacon.
Yep,
literally just saved our bacon, because
now I'm hungry.
Header stopped it being a draw. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That stopped it being a draw. And that last sort of 8 minutes or whatever it was, especially when they went up for the free kick, I literally did that. I didn't want to watch it. That's how. I literally stopped watching the TV screen for those few seconds and then looked up afterwards when I knew they didn't get it in. So, yeah, fantastic. So glad that I go into next week with a few bragging rights over my Spurs friends back in the UK. I can't wait to seek them out on social media.
I don't think I have one Spurs friend.
I actually do. He's a very good friend of mine, and I'm going to see him tonight. So.
Maybe I have one. I can't remember who it is at the moment, but I think I might have one, and we're not that close. We're not that close.
I don't have any friends.
As soon as it's like, I don't have any friends.
I immediately, hey, that's it. I just wanted sadness right now.
The next hour of this will be therapy. You've got more friends than you realize you do, my friend.
I was close to getting myself in a fight with the Spurs fan, in the sense that I'm at a Quakes game, and two gentlemen passed by, and a Liverpool supporter had the jersey on, like, hey, Paul, he mentioned it, they were having the great one. But how about yourself, to the friend that was dressed normally? And he goes, I'm a Spurs fan. And my immediate reaction was, I'm really sorry to hear that. And the look he gave me, like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to do this because I'm on a pod with Mikey. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Nice.
All good. Real quick, man of the match for me is nice. Man of the match for me is Martin Odegaard. I'm with Stan on that one. He bagged the goal, and I just a breath of fresh air in the midfield for us today. And I think the confidence is just going to keep building with him. And all I can say is I hope we can figure out a way to keep him around. So that's all we got. I want to thank the panel as always. Mike from the Gooners Pod, thank you very much. Do you need to shout anything out on upcoming shows?
No, just another week of some random shows that we're doing this week. We'll be on Monday, 10 p.m. with the official Spurs recap, which thank goodness will be a happy show now.
Yeah. Hers, not another Arsenal pod.
Yes. Mike Hers on Twitter, and then I also have a podcast, very small podcast, very certain off, but I would appreciate if you guys give it a chance. It is not another Arsenal podcast, and we're on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and iTunes. We're everywhere.
Oh, and we will be adding some new programming soon. More on that later, but some interesting changes coming up in the Gooners Pod world.
Stay tuned for that. Stan, anything to shout out at the very end? Anything you're going to be on?
Really? I mean, I'll be back with you on Tuesday for Same Old Arsenal USA with the Rohan and Ryan. And if you haven't already, if you've got a spare $5 in your pocket, go over to Tony Turner and give him a donation, and let's help Tony get his new peg. Tony a new leg.
Yeah. Here. Well said. That's it. That's all we got. We got 3 points. We win the North London Derby today, and I think we'll all be sleeping rather easily tonight, knowing that we bagged.
I'll be sleeping rather easily in about 10 minutes. It's nap time, baby.
Yeah, knowing that we bagged one over the Spurs today. Good win. I'm going to fly it one more time, and that's all we got for you.